Crushes are a weird topic for me. When I was 5 years old, I remember family members asking me which boy at school I had a crush on. They told me that I wasn't a real girl unless I had a crush on a boy. One of them mentioned that I should start with a boy in my class. Just pick one, basically. And I did not understand the assignment. I thought it was just pick a boy with a name, and I didn't really know any of the boys' names. So I just picked the first boy name I heard a teacher say out loud. I had no idea what this boy looked like and had absolutely no idea which one he was. Mind you, at 5 years old, I had no idea what a crush was, and no one really explained it to me. Didn't understand that you were supposed to like your crushes for a reason. So this name was just a placeholder. He meant absolutely nothing to me. If you've watched Jaden Animation's video Being Not Straight, she explains it better, but I agree with something that she said in that video, which is, at the time, I just thought that crushes were more like a task that needed to be completed versus something to actually feel. To be clear, I was 5 at the time. 5-year-olds don't have romantic feelings for people. I do not think they have the capacity for romance. Because, you know, they're 5. Habit of society to assign any kind of like or interest as romantic love or physical desire has always been a bit creepy to me, as a child and even as an adult. But yeah, this guy was a placeholder. Same with the boys I labeled as crush in the following years. I had tried to make one of their names my Neopets password because I thought that was just something you were supposed to do. But surprise, surprise, since I was stupid and this boy meant absolutely nothing to me, I had no idea how to spell his name. He wasn't important to me, and neither was the spelling of his name. So it's a butchered spelling of this guy's name attached to my starving Neopets because I don't remember my login anymore. I remember my friends starting to get interested in boys and do things like write notes or practice singing love songs that they felt matched their feelings perfectly. And I just thought I was one of those special not like other girls type because I just didn't feel any attraction to the guys. The first time I remember having an actual crush was about 12 years old. Let me give you a little background on who I was at 12. It was the start of middle school, so technically every single one of us was the new kid. And I just so happened to be the new kid who was also the quiet kid. And I didn't talk to anyone other than like my 2 or 3 friends at the time. I had absolutely no sense of style, no girly clothes at all, had absolutely no idea how to fix my hair. I just wore the same exact jacket every single day and the same pair of sneakers. This, this is what my classmates saw every single day. Wonderful. And then Halloween came around, and you know what Halloween is. Halloween is the one night a year when a girl can dress like a total and no other girls can say anything about it. But, I was only 12, so what was at 12? It was a tube top and the shortest pair of shorts that I owned. Oh, hey, it's you. You remember me from class? Oh, yeah, hi. Um, Happy Halloween. Yeah, yeah, of course. Thank you. I'll I'll see you around. Maybe the adults were right, and that prepubescent boys just really like shoulders for some reason. But sure enough, he started giving me special attention in class. During a movie day, he gave up his seat by the front, and he just knelt by my desk for a majority of the movie. I was staring at the back of his head, wondering if I should say something. He would smile and wink at me from across the room, give me high fives in the hallways, make funny faces to get my attention during class. And as the quiet kid who didn't really ever get the chance to talk to anyone, I obviously felt very special. Let's name this guy a generic boy name. Let's go with Liam. Oh, Liam. Liam was actually a grade above me, so we had exactly one class together. I think this is probably what it looked like on the outside when I was sitting in that class, but on the inside, I was obsessed with Liam. I figured out what his schedule was just by watching where he was in the hallways during passing periods. I stalked what little he had on social media. I looked for him in old yearbooks, and I even asked my friends if they knew anything about him. How deep did this stalking go? Not too deep, I think. Not too deep. But I do happen to know who his brother's first kiss was. It was such an extreme obsession as a kid. I think I was also afraid of him, or he just made me so anxious and nervous that I could not even look in his general direction most of the time. I was already the quiet kid, but anytime he came near me or tried to talk to me, I would just go mute. I could not speak around him, and I would just. In that class, we had those tables where we all sat in groups and we were all facing each other during class. So whoever sat at my table figured out pretty quickly that I had a serious crush on Liam, and they would tease me about it mercilessly. This was also a class where we had to read passages out loud sometimes. Whenever we were assigned characters to read lines for, Everyone insisted that I be assigned the romantic partner, or any character that mentioned love of any kind. I begged the teacher to let me be any other character, but I honestly think this woman might have been in on it because sometime in the middle of the school year. Okay, class, it's time for us to rearrange the seating chart. And guess what? I let Liam help me with the new seating chart. Oh, quack. By the way, we change seats pretty often in that class, pretty much every month, if not every other month. This teacher did not change the seating chart for the rest of the school year. We're supposed to move seats again, but she just let me stay there, I guess. Still, the idea that he had actually wanted me to be near him, that he had intervened and intentionally put me beside him was honestly the most special I'd felt as a kid. I still couldn't talk to him much though. He just made me way too nervous. There was one time I was walking home while holding a cupcake. Oh, can I have one, Putz? And just from that, I panicked. I couldn't really talk or function around him, so I just held out the cupcake to him, gesturing awkwardly for him to just have it. He ended up splitting the cupcake in half for us, and we shared it. The emotional happy high that I got from that lasted several weeks. I'm not even kidding you. A few weeks later, I tried to redeem myself. I had brought some red velvet to school, and I just told myself, today I will be brave enough to talk to him and just offer him one. Throughout lunch, I gave most of them away to my friends, but I saved one specifically for him. I knew I could catch him while walking home, so I just hyped myself up and started walking before I could chicken out. He just made me so hecking nervous that I was only a few steps behind him when I'm so very glad he didn't turn around because, oh my gosh, if he did, I have no idea how I would explain why my entire face is now covered in red and like frosting. He just made me way too nervous. There was also this thing where my best friend had her own crush in almost the same way. Happily obsessed at the time, but it was incredibly anxiety inducing. But I think she actually talked to her crush sometimes, so extra points for her. I was still way too nervous to ever talk to Liam. But anyways, we would need to walk from our lockers to our lunch table, and her crush's lunch area was right about here. So I would always switch sides with her, so I would be on this side of my best friend. Oh, thanks for hiding me. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, of course, no problem. Anything to be a good friend. She thought I was blocking her from her anxiety-inducing crush. Incorrect. Liam's lunch table just so happened to be right here. So I was actually using my best friend as a human shield from my anxiety-inducing crush, which I thought was super funny. It's been really hard to explain what a crush feels like to me. I remember stumbling upon the word limerence and thought it was a pretty good match to what I had felt back then. I tried to find a solid definition of limerence, but it ranged from having an intense, deep desire for romance between you and another person, or having a crush, but with some extreme OCD characteristics that required intervention. I'd like to think that what I felt for Liam was somewhere in the middle. It was definitely way too much for how little I spoke to him, but I don't think it went into a clinical diagnosis just yet. Hi, I'm editing right now. Due to some of the recent drama with some of the stories that were shared on TikTok, I've learned that I was very wrong about this. Yeah, but while I have your attention, I might as well give a little education based on some of the stuff I've learned. Limerence, from a psych and mental health definition, can become problematic when it starts to have intrusive thoughts, limited self-awareness, and very limited restraint. And unfortunately, it can lead to stalking behaviors, as well as delusions or beliefs that the romance is two-sided when there is clear evidence that there isn't any. While there are a lot of jokes being made about this, I hope that some people can still find the compassion to try and understand that this can be due to a cognitive state that the person has very little control over. So yeah, limerence isn't what I thought it was, and it's a really interesting topic overall, so I hope other people can actually learn more about it, especially with the rising drama from TikTok. As someone who has only experienced crushes maybe a handful of times in my life, I think that having a crush can be pretty fun. It made my days interesting, and it generally changed my mood for the better, most of the time. Even the weird nervousness and being unable to talk was something different for me, and it made me curious about my life in a way that I really needed back then. From adolescence to adulthood, I've been trying to figure out my own beliefs, wants, desires, and opinions when it comes to crushes or full-on relationships. Know that what I'm about to say shouldn't be generalized or applied to every single scenario. And just a disclaimer that I am a stranger on the internet with different beliefs and experiences from you. I don't even believe myself to be in the best place to be giving any kind of relationship advice. So don't look at me like I'm some kind of relationship guru or anything. I'm just sharing some stuff that I've learned about myself and my own thoughts. Everyone's beliefs, wants, desires, and opinions in relationships, or any topic really, will be different. There are probably a few topics where they should probably align with the people around you just to make sure you guys are even compatible or happy to be around one another. But the goal isn't to have everything line up 100%, because chances are it never will. And my opinion is that I think that it would get rather boring if you had someone who didn't have their own individual ideas, beliefs, or interests that were different from yours. For myself, I would have never widened my own understanding of other topics if they were not introduced to me by other people. I wouldn't have tried any new video games, movies, food, ideologies if another person hadn't encouraged me out of my own comfort zone and invited me into theirs. The sturdiness of your relationship or even your friendships are not revealed through how well you get along when you agree. The quality of your relationships is revealed when you disagree or argue. Because will you still get along if you're disagreeing or arguing? Will you still be loving, respectful, a trustworthy companion? Disagreements with other people against your relationship or even disagreements within your relationship will test you, whether it be standing up for your relationship or standing up for yourself in your own relationship. Another belief of mine is that teenagers and young adults might have crushes, but I don't think many of them are ready for full-on relationships or genuine or complete romance. Simply put, they're in the middle of some pretty great stuff up in their brains, learning new emotions and generally stretching out the capacity of their growing brains. They're learning how to plan for the future, they're learning how to be empathetic and put themselves in someone else's shoes, how to give a genuine apology, take responsibility for their own mistakes, learning how different emotions feel in their bodies, and other life lessons. It's a bit difficult to fully attach yourself to another person when you're not really sure where each of you are in terms of development. Especially since development is not something you can predict and not something you can ever rush. Difficult, but not impossible. The bits of romance that I've seen teenagers and young adults go through has been some of the most impactful because I know that the other person is experiencing this for the very first time. First time recognizing romantic attraction or your feelings. First time putting yourself out there and asking someone out. First time holding hands with someone. First time opening up and being vulnerable with a person of your own choosing. First time getting your heart broken. Especially when you get your heart broken while you still have your own childlike innocence to the world. I only have a single story about being someone else's crush, but I don't even know if that is the correct term for it. Here is my take on what not to do when you have a crush. Don't pretend to be their friend when your real intention is to try and start a romantic relationship. There's a difference between getting to know someone first to see if you're actually attracted to them and looking for a potential partner and then just befriending them while secretly trying to rush them into romance. Don't trash talk or guilt trip someone when you get rejected. And for the person doing the rejecting, my opinion on this has been a bit controversial, but I don't think it's your responsibility to comfort the person you've rejected. I stand by this just because I've had both guy friends and girlfriends get so concerned about this. For my friends, this is how it would happen. Oh no, I'm so sorry, I don't feel the same way. Oh my gosh, you hurt my feelings. You don't think I'm amazing? I must be such a trash person in your eyes. What? No, you're still amazing and you're kind and you're talented, but I'm not good enough for you because if I was actually amazing, you would date me, but you won't date me. I mean, maybe I could. No, no, stop. This person is fishing for compliments and trying to guilt you into dating them. That is a huge no from me. You are allowed to reject people if you don't want to date them. Assuming you do reject them in an appropriate manner, it's not your job to comfort them or offer them some kind of consolation prize. But Puds, the other person just got their feelings hurt. Aren't you being a little heartless? There are times that we hurt other people, and yes, it is our job to make repairs and offer comfort for the damage we've done. Rejection sucks, I know, but no does mean no. Blowing past red lights will always be against the law. Sitting in your own feels after a rejection will suck, but if you're not willing to do it, you're not ready for a friendship or any kind of relationship with anyone. Because, surprise, surprise, being in a relationship does not make everything an automatic yes. You'll experience rejection inside healthy relationships too. Where was I going with this? Ah, yes. What not to do when you have a crush. Don't act like your crush only exists to be your crush. This also applies to when you're actually in a relationship with them. People shouldn't be put up on pedestals in general. They are not some perfect person made specifically for you to fall in love with. They'll have an entire life outside of you, and even if they do eventually become your friend or even your romantic partner, they'll have relationships with other friends and family members. They'll have a fulfilling career, and they'll have hobbies and interests that make them happy, even if they don't include you. Their happiness should not be dependent on you. I think the main reason we feel attraction or form crushes is due to the mystery of new people. We see a lot of the ideal traits on the outside, and we get to fill in the blanks with whatever we like. The main example that I see of this are people who have celebrity crushes. Like when someone has a crush on a celebrity or K-pop star, suddenly that celebrity does something they don't like. They're suddenly so heartbroken or they start bashing the celebrity based on a relationship that never even existed. The most intense crushes I've seen people have generally been towards people they barely know, simply because the missing pieces are filled with whatever you want versus who the person actually is. Even if you're someone who isn't interested in romantic relationships, you can still have more fulfilling friendships and relationships. Romantic relationships should not be the number one goal for everyone. Don't stay in bad relationships because you think that being in a toxic or abusive relationship is somehow better than being single. 'Cause it really isn't.